Hi, this is Regina with Morale Fiber, and today we have the starting row of a row of Tunisian crochet. So this is how to make the very first row of Tunisian crochet, and I do use this kind of crochet in a couple of my popular patterns. So I wanted to do a couple videos just showing the basics and techniques that you need to know to make those patterns. So here I've got my 650 or K size crochet Tunisian hook. It is a long, straight aluminum hook. It doesn't have a cable. And I'm going to use that hook to pull up my first loop to begin a line of chain stitching. And like other crochets, this type of stitch does work a foundation chain before starting on the first row. So I'm going to chain 15. And as you can see, it looks like a regular chain. It's just a regular chain stitch, as with any other foundation chain row. It has those two loops up front, and then in the back here, I'm going to flip it over. It has that back little singular loop, and that's the back of the chain stitch. So for our very first stitch, we already have one loop on the hook here. So our first chain stitch already has a loop pulled up from that stitch. We're going to pull up one loop from every other chain stitch. So we'll skip the very first chain, as we've already got a loop from that one, and pull up a loop on the next chain stitches. And we're keeping these loops trapped on our hook. We're working into the bottom of these chain stitches, so that's the loop on the back, not the front two loops. And just inserting our hook right under that loop at the back, drawing up a loop and keeping it on our hook, and repeating that all the way across the row. And when we've got several stitches on our hook, we can see why these Tunisian hooks have this little stopper on the end. Working a lot of loops, it keeps them from coming right off the back. So in case you've never worked Tunisian ever before, that's the nature of these hooks. That's what makes them really special, and why you need a Tunisian hook specifically to work a project like this. Now, some Tunisian hooks are solid, like mine is. It's got a metal bar all the way down. Some stop halfway through and turn into a flexible cable cord. Some people find those hooks easier to use. I like this one. It's just been in my collection forever. Both of my hooks were inherited, so it's just kind of what I ended up with. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this row. And this last stitch here is a little bit loose, so I'm just going to pry up under there with my hook to get that last stitch on to the hook. And this is the first part of one Tunisian row. This is your foundation row. You can see our chain stitches neatly along the bottom and all of our loops drawn up onto the hook at the top. Now, this is only part one of one Tunisian row. Every Tunisian row has a part one, which is a forward pass. And then the second part works the loops back off the hook in a return pass. So at the end of the row, you're going to have made a forward pass and a backward pass, and your hook will end up back on the side of your dominant hand. So for me, that's my right hand, so I'm going to work back across. The first stitch yarns over and draws through one loop only. Yarn over, draw through one loop. And then every other stitch on the row is yarn over and draw through two loops. So the first stitch, just draw through one loop, one only. And then every other stitch, draw through two loops. And we'll work the loops back off the hook in that direction. So here we see the repeat, yarn over, draw through two loops, yarn over, draw through two loops, yarn over, draw through 2 loops, and here we're getting a row of Tunisian, I guess you'd call it simple stitch. A foundation row is pretty simple, and from here we can work either Tunisian Simple or Tunisian Knit Stitch or a lot of other different kind of Tunisian stitches. Here's our stitches, 1 row. So we've completed our backward pass and we're ready to move on and work another row. And I'm going to keep doing these Tunisian tutorials, so you'll see coming up in the playlist as soon as I get it posted, some more Tunisian tutorials. So if you'd like to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe.